So I've been asked to demonstrate the tracing paper trick, and where you would use that is if you've got a line on your route on the map which doesn't follow any distinctive features that you could make an accurate map route copy from. And we might find that when we get there, there's something like a sheep track on the ground that we can follow, or we might be asked to take a direct bearing. But in order to get the most accurate copy from the master map onto our copy of the map, we would use a little bit of tracing paper in this situation. The other time that we might use this is if you've been given a map in the map room which has got a blank section on it. In the master map you've got the complete route, but on the map that you're given to draw onto, there's a blank section and you've got to make an accurate copy of that route. So what we do is we take a piece of tracing paper. The line that I've got on the map here is heading off across moorland, and there's not really anything to actually go on. You could have a little guess at the contours, you could measure it, but the quickest, the easiest way of doing it is using a piece of tracing paper. So the first thing that I would do, if I haven't already done so, is I would make a little note of where the corners of the grid lines are, because what you don't want to be doing is putting it down in the wrong place. So if I've marked just a couple, if I've marked 4 corners of a grid square, I know that I can translate that over onto here accurately. And I then trace the route itself onto the tracing paper. I use a black pen for this, not a pink or a red pen, because we're going to use red crayon next and it would make it very, very difficult to see. So if you use black or blue pen, it is much easier to see when you come to do step 3 of this exercise. So here I've traced along the line of the route that is underneath. The red line is the route that's on the master map, and I've traced it as a black line. I've got my corner squares so that I can relocate it onto the correct place on this map. I turn it over, and the next thing I'm going to use is this is what's called a Chinograph pencil. It's a Staedtler Lumicolor, and it came as one long pencil, but I cut mine in half using the saw bit off my penknife, because that way, if I've got 2 points on, so if one of them breaks off, I've still got a spare pencil. And what I do is I just colour over the back of the paper along the line of our route. And this is why you don't use a red pen, because when you turn this over, you're going to be able to see that we can still see the black line with the red behind it. So I've coloured on this side and I've got my route on this side. So now I move over to my master map. I'm using a really, really thin, Bic ultra fine biro here. This is a cheap enough pen that I don't really care if I mess up the nib on it, but it's a really, really fine tipped pen. So looking at this map, I make sure that I've got my squares, where I've marked the corner of the grid squares, I make sure that I've got them lined up with the grid lines of the map underneath. I look and I check and make sure that this looks like it's in a sensible place. And then I just draw along the original black line. And I press quite firmly. I'm going along here. And then when I remove the tracing paper, it's copied the route over like that. So we have got the master route and the copied route. Now, that's not the end of this game. You've just got to have a little check and a look to make sure that it actually makes sense and that you haven't obscured any features that you would want to see underneath. From our point of view on this map, there aren't any features to obscure, but I'm just having a little look at this summit here. Is in the right place. This summit here seems to be in the right place. it passes between the contour lines in a good place. I'm happy with that, good to go.
Fantastic.